Welcome to the family with
Co-host Catherine Brandt.
Kevin Pittman.
Andy Brandt Bernard.
And Kristen Burt.
Kristen Burt. Kristen Burt Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. And I don't want to change what you're going to talk about, but I got to bring up a couple of things quickly because I think people are getting crazier by the minute. I really do. So one of these is for you and one of these is for Tevin. Two things that I saw this morning, I just couldn't believe it. I can't. I'm on checking my emails, and there's a thing that scrolls across the top now, which I have now gotten rid of, thank God. But it's apparently news you're supposed to know about. Do you get that when you check your messages?
Gmail or Outlook? Because Gmail, I definitely don't have that.
I don't know what it is. Let me grab my phone and see if I can figure it out. It's on. But I just, people are getting crazier by the minute. It's when I check, I think it's on, it might be on X. Or does it go across the whole thing? I took away the thing.
Might be TikTok. Who knows?
I just took it away because here's why. I checked my messages just before the show today, and I see two things. And like I said, I can tell you, I did not vote for president. And I've also talked about the fact that I probably will never vote again because I'm of an age now where it's really none of my business that the younger people should be, deciding who to vote in and who not to or whatever. So I don't think I'll ever vote again. I kind of like the fact that I didn't vote for anybody because I don't have to put up with anybody's crap. It's like, hey, I didn't vote. Leave me alone, right? Mm-hmm. So I see scrolling along as I'm checking my messages. This message is scrolling, and it says something about how much they hate Donald Trump. And I'm like, really? Now you're going to post that on a scrolling ad on a, you want to hate Donald Trump, that's good for you. I have never bothered to hate any political candidate. I don't, you got Joe Biden, you got Donald Trump, you got whoever. I don't think any of them are very good, but I don't hate any of them, right? So I get rid of that. And the first thing I see on the news is how burning the cane sugar canes in Florida is racist.
What?
You know why it's racist?
Because it turns them black.
Because the smoke from the burning sugar cane only affects black neighborhoods, which is ridiculous. I mean, now you're going to tell me no matter which way the wind blows, that the smoke always goes in that direction. Are people getting crazier by the minute?
I just think we need to find you new news sources.
Yeah.
I've got to find new news.
Andy, when he's in town,
insane.
you've got to take his phone and reprogram some things.
I'm
Yes.
going to find this scrolling bar and make sure it never happens again.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable. But seriously, do they think people are stupid enough that even if it did flow over, because I'm sure a lot of sugarcane workers are black. That's probably why they live in the neighborhood where the sugar canes are, because they're living by their job, right? Mm-hmm. But how do you, so if the wind's blowing east to west or west to east, it doesn't matter. Yes, it does.
Down here in Florida, everybody complains every time the sugarcane fields are burned because it causes allergies, people's eyes itch.
Yeah.
And I mean, when we used to live further west, we could actually get little pieces of ash falling all over everything. It doesn't go everywhere, but if you want sugar, you got to have sugar cane.
That is true.
I don't know if
Also
people
not
want to
great
go
air
without
quality.
sugar.
What's that?
Also not great air quality, though.
No,
having
it's not.
lived
No,
it's
through
not.
No, it isn't. but-
wildfires. So there's that.
But
I mean,
why can it never be all people suffer from it? They got to be, it's only white people that suffer. It's only black people that suffer.
Because it's
Why?
the easiest way to get people to click on it and talk about it. And now
yeah, you're
you're all
falling for clickbait and
Yep.
SEO, search
I didn't
engine
click on it.
optimization, but it caught your eye, and we're talking about it right
Right.
now.
I know, because I don't ever want to see it again. That's why I'm talking about. I am so sick of people being so judgmental.
I know, but we write these as journalists. We write these clickbaity headlines to get you to click. You are our target
So
audience.
it's your fault.
Yes.
yes,
It's Kristen Burt's
that's how they
fault.
get paid is per click.
They probably are writing the
I don't get
headline.
paid per click, but some
lot of people
sites
do.
pay per click. But
Yep.
and I will also say too that this ties into tech. Tech has disrupted so many
Yeah, no question.
industries,
No
and
question.
the reason why we write these clickbaity headlines is because then Google, and then you click on it, is that Google will optimize your article higher in the search. However, this all changed last year when they started putting their AI at the top of a Google search. You probably have noticed that. And it pushes all the articles down.
Right, right.
And a lot of times I'm going to search for something and it's completely incorrect. I mean, I've had to even search for something for myself, like looking for a past article, and they'll be like, Kristen Burt has worked for Entertainment Tonight. I've never worked for Entertainment Tonight. But that is what they have in the AI
There you
search bar.
go. That's what I'm talking about.
But
Weird.
that's the problem. Tech consistently disrupts the industry. And even yesterday, I was talking with the studio executive and we were just talking about how tech has disrupted TV and film, and it will never be the same because they
Right.
come in saying, we're going to modernize you. But instead, what they're doing is taking away jobs, pushing out misinformation. And here we are. And we're talking about a ridiculous title about sugarcane.
Yep.
I know. It's amazing. And Tevin, you might know this because you play golf, right?
Yep, every once in a while.
Every once in a while. Where did the Golf Channel go? When Arnold Palmer was alive, he had the Golf Channel, but I tried to watch it today. I'm telling you the reason I'm trying to watch the Golf Channel, because I'm sick of getting my ass kicked by Catherine on the golf course. I have to figure out how to better my swing. She beats me every time now.
I know. I don't understand. For someone that dedicated, 30 years of your life to golfing every single day.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
need a
but that
golf lesson? Maybe you need some golf lessons.
That was
Sharpen
more
some
about,
skills.
Tevin, what was it more about when I played all that golf?
I'm going to assume that maybe there were some beverages consumed.
Yeah, baby.
Wow, so you lied. All those years you were lying about
You were-
the purity of the game,
purity
and
of
how
the game.
wonderful the rules are, and
That's
how it's just
exactly
an
it.
honorable way to spend
is.
time.
It
Oh,
is.
all those lies.
You just take a photo of you with like a golf club and then you go right into the grill.
Yeah.
Oh no, on the golf course it's even more fun because nobody can watch you. You're with 3 other people and that's it.
Yeah, my favorite was he'd be gone for like 10 hours.
10 hours.
I'd be, so what'd you do today? Did you go golfing? No, I didn't golf today. I only golfed 9 holes.
Well, that's not golfing.
So the rest of it was spent in the grill.
That's not golfing. That's all I have to say. But I was surprised because I was looking for some tips on the, and Catherine actually gave me some tips.
Oh, I
which
found a great,
She
great
did.
YouTube channel.
She absolutely did.
Tiger Woods' old coach he's got some free ones. Oh my God. It was like amazing. I
So-
was like, look at that.
I'm going to have to get the YouTube channel in order to get that.
YouTube is,
YouTube's free. You can just
yeah,
put it on your
YouTube's
TV.
free. I mean, there's a ton of golf coaches out there right now because golf has made such a resurgence
Oh, God,
again
yes.
because of
Yep.
COVID. That was one of the
Oh,
few
yeah.
things that you could do outside that
You have
wasn't
to social distance
restricted.
there.
Yeah, I mean, for a while there, golf got so expensive that it sort of it went away.
Yeah, that's
It
true.
really did. I mean,
That's
it was,
true.
yeah. And then during COVID, it went sky high again. Now everybody wants to golf. So now there's all of these coaches that have a subscription that you can get to teach you how to golf. And I'm sure with this Full Swing show that's happening, it probably
Yeah.
might make
Yeah.
people want to golf more
And
often
Top
again.
Golf is accessible, if you
Yeah.
just want to do a driving range.
Yep.
As we segue into Kristen Burt, let me just say I did not know this, but we were schmoozing the other day about this with some friends. There are golf courses that cost up to $2 million to join.
Yeah, that's only on the East
Well, that's
Coast.
in LA. That's pretty common.
LA.
Yeah.
Oh, in
that's
LA, it's pretty
pretty
common for
common.
$2 million?
What's a couple of million to a person from California?
Westchester Country Club. Yeah, like there's a lot of country clubs out here.
$2
Yeah.
million?
Yeah, it doesn't.
Oh
I mean,
my
that doesn't even. My jaw does not drop with that.
Well, I mean, how much is the Breakers now?
600.
Oh, so it's
1,000.
not even close to 2 million.
No.
No.
And Nana and I joined for 23,000. So ha ha.
Yeah, that was a zillion years ago,
It
though.
was a
Zillion
long
years
time.
ago.
Yeah, you still have the original picture they took on your ID.
Yeah,
Yep,
they do. We
I
do.
know.
Yep.
Yeah, you.
I look
you're
much
I don't
younger.
I think you're younger than me in that picture.
I was. Absolutely. I was 35, I think, or 36 maybe.
Yeah.
I think I was
Look at that
36.
picture. I'm like, it's maybe needs to be updated.
All right.
They
So
don't seem to care.
we got everything covered. So you're saying basically when I see these things, I should just laugh it off and just go, oh my
Walk
God.
on by. Just complete. Don't click. Don't let it raise your blood pressure.
Well, I don't
Yes,
click.
exactly.
I don't click.
Meditate. any of that. Well, you must have known a little bit because you knew a little bit about the sugar
Well, it
cane
scrolled
burning.
across. It wasn't just stable. It scrolled across.
Okay, we're gonna fix your scrolling. That's gonna be Andy's project the next time he sees you.
No, I already fixed it. I
Yes.
got rid of it.
Oh,
Okay, great.
I got rid of it completely. But I just, but the thing about that whole deal is everybody's in the same basket, and the wind only blows from east
But they're
to
not
west.
though. You're falling for news that's being fed to you, and instead of news,
I'm
that
not
you
falling for it. I just read the headlines.
we're
I
gonna
didn't
make
read the
sure.
articles.
We're going to teach you new ways to seek out news. How about that?
Well, please
Catherine
do,
can
because I
help
need
me.
help. I need help with it all. Kristen Bird, Entertainment News, brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. So, what's the latest?
Well, it's Tevin Tuesdays.
It's Tevin Tuesday, yes.
Yes, and he actually came. He has a few questions, so I thought
Yeah.
I'd help.
Oh, you do?
I was angrily watching TV because, excuse me, now like with shows that come out weekly, they're releasing them. Like one of them releases at 3 a.m. on like
Yeah.
a Monday, and another one's like
dumb.
11 on a Tuesday. And so I need Kristen to fight the good fight and tell everybody to release these shows at like 7 p.m. like normal adults, and then also The Boys and Gen V. I had 2 questions on like how those are coming back.
So, in terms of the times, when they come out at 3 a.m. Eastern time, that is simply structured for the West Coast. So it's coming out at midnight, the turn of our day, into the next day. So they wait until the West Coast hits midnight, and that's why you're getting that random 3 a.m. Which is, I understand it's annoying when you live on the East Coast. For us, we're like, it's midnight. I'll stay up. If you're really dying to see a show, you'll stay up and watch it. Like that's the one thing. But I noticed Peacock, because when I was watching Traders, they were releasing things 9 p.m. Eastern, like 6 p.m. West Coast time, and we could all watch it then. So I think that hopefully people will move more to a model like that, because I feel like that's a little bit more equitable. You can watch that night. But I'm wondering for ratings, if people just want to have that fresh, clean slate of like, oh, people were watching the show all
Oh,
day
yeah.
too. The measurements of that.
That kind of reminds me of Tevin. I'm assuming you know what Steam is.
Yep.
Yeah, so Steam is like where everyone plays all their PC games these days. You download the games through it, you play your games through it, you chat with your friends through it. And every week they have a maintenance where the whole system goes down. So you can't download any games, you can't talk to anyone. And the time they chose to do this is somewhere between 6 and 9 Eastern time, which is like peak gaming time. Well, I've
Right.
always wondered, like, why not do it at 2 o'clock in the morning? There must be some reason for this very bizarre time. But so it's like releasing things at 7 o'clock in the morning or whatever. It's like I'm assuming they'd have to have some reason, but I can't imagine what it could possibly be.
Yeah, they just don't care about the Midwest, because I'm trying to watch Paradise and I'm like, it's 11 p.m.
Yep.
If I don't
That
watch
could
it
be.
now, I'm going to see all the spoilers and it's going to be
Yep.
terrible.
I will
Got
tell
it.
you, when I lived, adjusting to Central Time for television to me was brutal. I've lived on the
yeah.
East Coast and West Coast and lived in the Midwest. And for that particular, having to start prime time at 7 p.m., when oftentimes I'm like, hey, and this is back in the era too, when we were, watching live TV all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, right.
It was a struggle to go, well, at 7 p.m. I want to be like working out and then come back and then watch primetime TV at 8 p.m. And instead I'm getting, I have to be home earlier. I felt like it ended my day earlier. I think that was what it was. Now, of course, TV's at any time of day
Yeah,
that
it
you
doesn't
absolutely
matter.
want. It doesn't
Right.
matter. But that was a real struggle having lived on the East and West Coast. I now prefer to watch TV though on the West Coast, because when we get the Super Bowl, when we get the Oscars, anything like that, it starts so early. It's done by 8
Right.
p.m. and we still have the rest of the night ahead of us, instead of like, oh, the Oscars, it's still midnight and we're watching. We're still here at this party.
So when I'm watching All in the Family at 7 p.m. Central Time, it actually started at 5 o'clock in the afternoon out west?
Yeah.
No, we were,
No?
we
They
watched,
delayed it?
it'd be live, it'd be 8 p.m. They delay it. So
Oh,
a great
okay.
example in 2025 would be, let's just say Dancing with the Stars, which is still a live show. It airs live for East Coast
Yeah.
and Central. It is live to tape for us on the West
Okay,
Coast, which affects
okay.
voting. So that's a
Yep.
great example where it doesn't work in our favor.
Right. No, that makes total sense.
Yeah,
to me,
because I always
thought-
remember, they'd be like, catch the new Simpsons, 6 o'clock, 5 Central. And as kids, we were always like, what the hell does that mean? 6 o'clock, 5 Central.
Yeah,
The
no, they would-
old time zones.
they would do it after like sporting events with 60 minutes, and it would be like
Yeah.
60 minutes except on the East Coast.
Yeah.
As a kid, I was like, why? Like the East Coast just isn't worthy of watching 60 minutes after this? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, it was all about those Nielsen numbers and not broadcasting during dinner or too early or too late.
And also getting to news for the affiliates. That was also an issue sometimes. They could bump it for a certain amount of time, but they can't, preempt the entire broadcast. So there's always kind of, I don't know what the time limit is, but there is a time limit of how much they can preempt the local news.
I sometimes actually remember watching something and it would like just cut to the news all of a sudden. Like it would just cut off
yeah.
the last
Yep.
3 minutes of the show. And yeah, that would
Yep.
be why, I suppose, because they're like, oh, time for the news. Too bad.
Yeah, and we see that in the era of DVRs too. Remember, your DVR would cut off a show if it
Yeah.
ran long, and you'd be like, "I don't have the last 10 minutes,"
Oh, but that's okay because for us, we couldn't understand it anyway because it was all in Spanish.
Oh, that's right. Our TiVo thought we were Hispanic.
They
Our
did.
TiVo started recommending nothing but Hispanic shows to us. And this was like in the late 90s. It was
Yeah.
a long time ago.
We were like, why
the
TiVo?
algorithm was very, very bad back then.
Remember that coincidence in that? Because we got our TiVo delivered nothing but Spanish. And that night on, I can't remember the name, it was a sitcom. But one of the neighbors came over and goes, I got a huge problem. TiVo thinks I'm gay.
Yeah.
What?
TiVo was
Remember
doing
that?
No.
Yes. You don't
Okay.
remember that?
I'm wondering who your TiVo serviceman was because I'm starting
Right.
to think it was a neighborhood
Yeah.
conspiracy.
King of Queens, TiVo thinks I'm gay. That's
Yeah, King of Queens. That's exactly right. TiVo
I've-
thinks I'm gay.
I loved TiVo so much. Being able to pause live television was the greatest thing
The
in the
TiVo
world.
era was something.
Yep.
I had that, I think, paired with DirecTV, if I'm correct, and it was my absolute favorite.
It was the best.
We need to take a quick break. We'll be right back in just a couple of minutes more with Kristen Burt, Kevin, Andy, Catherine, some other hunyuck right after this.
From Bradshaw and Bryant, Michael Bryant. What's up, Allie?
Oh, not much. Doing my usual thing of telling people they shouldn't be texting and driving. In Minnesota, you can't have your phone in your hands. You can use, hands free, but you can't have your phone in your hands for whatever reason. And that's why they made the law the way they did, so that police officers could see a phone in your hand and you got no excuse for why you got it there.
Do people know that that's the law?
I hope so. I mean, they used to follow it, and then kind of COVID kind of made people forget. And now it's like a freewheeling world out there with cell phones.
Let's say you get pulled over because you do have a phone in your hand and you're not watching where you're going. You got to be in pretty big trouble then, I would guess.
Well, the first one's not as bad. It's the multiple ones, the problem. And once people start stacking them up, then they have a big problem. And then what we're doing in car accidents is we've started bringing motions for punitive damages, because I'm trying to use the civil law any way we can to stop this, because it needs to stop.
Whenever I'd had any problems in my life, who was that I called again? It was like an MB, something like that.
Bradshaw and Bryant.
Ladies and gentlemen, does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Sometimes the anxiety from wondering if you've saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you you could kind of ease those tensions? Just 48 minutes. My guy Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, can sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk, never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608. Set up your free 48-minute no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice, and I am a paid endorser. Ladies and gentlemen, Kristen Bird Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabankco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. So,
All right, and we have more with Tevin Tuesdays because we have to talk about Gen V.
Yes.
Of course, yes. Just the updates on this. The show, if you remember, because we talked a lot about it. Was it last year? Gosh, it seems like so long ago. But Chance Perdomo, who passed away, that did delay production of the show. They have finished filming, but it looks like it's going to be a late 2025 premiere for season 2. Patrick Schwarzenegger will not be back as Golden Boy, even though he met his demise in season 1. Spoiler alert. He was filming The White Lotus, so he won't be seen in any flashback scenes. They weren't able to work that out. So those are the biggest updates probably for Gen V.
Yeah, Patrick Schwarzenegger, is he any good?
He reminds me of like Sydney Sweeney. He is that like male version of Sydney Sweeney. Like they're in a lot of projects. They've got a lot of heat around them. And I think that if they want to break out and be considered a more serious actor, they're going to have to find that right project. So, and it might happen.
You know what's hilarious about that? By coincidence, today I was just watching an episode of One Step Beyond. It was supposed to be, I mean, for young people, it was a show from like the 1950s, the middle 1950s. And they went to some jungle in South America where this is the only place on earth this little mushroom grew, and it was very dramatic. And
Magic mushroom.
it was kind of a magic mushroom, exactly.
Magic mushroom.
But the host goes like this. What we're going to do right now, ladies and gentlemen, to my left, a young man will come onto the screen. His name is blah, 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 whatever his name was. And he's going to tell us what the future of this endeavor looks like. The guy walks in and he goes, "So, Bill, what do you think?" "Well, David, I think that if we all, I swear to God, it was that bad."
I think it was to prove that he wasn't an actor.
Where are you watching this unhinged?
What do you watch
It's
on
on Roku.
Tubi or
It's on
Roku?
Roku.
Yeah,
Roku.
Roku's got a bunch of really old shows.
They got all of my favorite kind of shows: One Step Beyond, Twilight Zone. We got Alfred Hitchcock. We got
it was.
it's all
Yeah, it was
wonderful.
about. It was about tripping, and that it was a closely guarded secret from this tribe and
Mushrooms
jungle.
are back, so it's very trendy right now.
See, maybe that's why it was on.
I don't know.
I'm not certain, but the
Yeah,
one-
designer drugs are. Kind of scary stuff.
what's the
what
name of
they're
that
doing.
show that I like? 45 minutes. It's 5 different examples. We're either lying or we're not. What's it called again?
Oh, with
Jonathan Frakes.
Jonathan
Oh,
Frakes.
What the hell is
Yeah.
that called?
Believe it or not.
Believe,
no.
believe it or it's something.
Yeah.
Believe it. Beyond belief.
Beyond
that's what it's
Belief.
called.
that's
It's Beyond
right.
belief.
That's it.
I love watching that stuff. Those guys do a very good job. But this guy, yes, Kristen and Tevin are on the show today with us.
The video quality was so bad.
It's so funny though. I've done media training for people, and they can be the most engaging person as you're having a conversation
yeah.
with them. You turn a camera on them and they become a robot. And I'm like, what is it about that little red dot that makes you go, I am a robot?
Or even a microphone. Microphones
Yeah.
too can make people just
Oh, yeah.
freeze up or get nervous. It's interesting.
It's true, no question about it. But yeah, I mean, I got to tell you, I do like TV right now because you can find anything you want, from current things to things that are 60 years old, or and any topic you're looking for, you can find. I really like that about television now.
Yeah.
I think-
Okay.
I think that Tom likes it just to see the ladies' hats from yesteryear.
Oh my God!
He's always like, look at that hat. Look at the hat.
There was a woman on. There was an episode today. I can't remember what I was even watching, but it's about these 2 women who used to go to the racetrack, and they kept losing so much money. The family was going broke, and then I found out her family was going broke. She said, "Well, I'll pay the bill, but all I have is 15 cents." He goes, 15 cents. You owe us, and this is for an entire day at losing at gambling. You owe us $26.60. I'm like,
Yeah.
what can you get for that now? A sandwich?
How much?
You get a
26?
decent meal, $26.60.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
depends on
can
where you live.
But
You can
this,
still get something decent even in LA. I'll say that.
honest to God, this woman, the housewife, was told by her husband, "If you gamble once more, I'm leaving you." And the guy came to collect on last week's losses at the track, and it was $26.40. She said, "Well, I'll pay some of it. I have $1.40." My God,
Not quite there.
not quite.
Well, the inflation
not quite right.
calculator only goes back to 1913, but back then, $26 would be $850 today.
Oh,
Holy God!
Quite a bit of inflation.
inflation's a bitch.
Oh my! $26 is now $850.
It's now $850.
Crazy.
But it is true. Some of these hats. I mean, there was
Oh,
this
Jesus.
mink puff thing like on top of her head, and there was a strap. It was just like,
It was weird.
You can talk
Back
some
when we
people
were
into
wearing
anything.
dead animals on our head.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Oh,
very
yeah.
interesting.
I'm just old enough to remember like the tail end, as it were, of like the whole wearing literal just like animal corpses around your shoulders. Yeah.
Fur coats, even in the 80s, were still a thing for
Yeah,
they
sure.
were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you were a prima donna or
Oh,
some
yeah,
sort
absolutely.
of
Or
And then
drug
Motown person or something.
And then people started throwing buckets of blood on them, and that kind of took the wind out of their sails.
Yeah. I think you
PETA
can
would
still
like
wear 'em
knock
in
you
Russia.
out in New York City.
Very honestly, about 35 years ago, I was at an auction. It was a very nice auction. It really helped people out a lot. And again, this is like, it might have been longer than 35 years ago, but there was this beautiful white mink coat. So I bought it for Catherine. I think she wore it once.
Yeah. I wore it once. 'Cause I thought it was white. I thought people might think it was fake, so I'd get away with it. But it's 100 million below zero. I'm in downtown Minneapolis. I went to see something. I'm walking to my car and I hear this, "Hey, you!" I turn around, they're like, "F you and your mink!" I'm like, okay, can't do anything in Minneapolis.
I remember you wore that to the governor's mansion that one time we went there.
Yes, I did.
Because
And
I
I wore it to
remember-
some friends' houses because
think
they
I
still were
remember-
secretly wearing minks.
Tim Pawlenty wore it, I believe.
Yep, he
Like
put
as
it
a
on.
joke. Yeah.
Yeah, the governor put on the mink coat. That
I
is
should
true.
have just given it to him.
Look at my,
Did he get photographed? Because
should've.
now that would be
No.
the end of his career.
No.
But I didn't even know. I didn't know that mink was out. And it might have been longer than 35 years ago.
no, I remember the coat, and I was
No. You
do?
probably like 12-ish, so this is
Yeah.
like 25-ish years ago.
25-ish. I didn't know. I mean, the thing's already dead. I didn't kill it. What are you blaming me for?
Well, see, that's the argument. It's like, a lot of people have been left a coat from their grandmother,
Right,
or
yeah.
there's been one in the family for a million years. It's like the animal is already dead. It's been dead for 50 years. Why can't I wear this coat? Why, is it better to throw it in the landfill?
You have to leave
mean-
it out so the birds can use the fur as nesting.
I
Yeah,
know
there you
that's
go.
the argument. It's like,
Return
so,
to nature.
yeah.
There you have it.
How long does it take for your sensibilities to, not get wounded?
I know.
I don't
So
know.
what I would have done during the whole like blood bucket throwing period is
Did
I
that.
would
They
have
did.
gone and gotten like a wolf pelt with the head still on it.
Yeah.
Because then the blood just makes it even cooler.
Kristen's having a tough time with this whole argument. Kristen, you're lucky. You've only got 3 more minutes left with us to discuss you.
We have one last topic with Tevin. I think you were talking about the in-app experience with Disney Plus and Hulu.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
that's-
okay.
Like I feel like Netflix has done such a good job of like you can scroll over something, you'll see the preview, you'll see the synopsis, and like other apps like Amazon sucks if you're trying to scroll back and
Oh
forth.
god, the
and
Amazon.
do-
No, Amazon's horrible.
Like how are we still trying to figure this out in 2025?
Disney Plus, we use rarely. We use it for Ethan when he's like in the car. We're gonna go on a long car ride. We'll download a bunch of movies and stuff.
Mhm.
And Ethan uses it for that. And I don't know, the Disney Plus app works fine for us, but we do it on a tablet, not a
Oh,
phone.
okay.
Are you watching things on your phone?
Oh no, just straight
I was-
TV for
I
the
was gonna
most
say.
part.
But there's a
Oh.
lot of
you're talking about
crossover now. If
Smart
you
TV app.
And yeah, and like the subscriptions too
Oh.
are like,
Yeah.
I have like I saw Hulu's running a thing where it's like, well, if you have like Paramount or HBO and this and that and it's bundles and it's like, guys, everybody just pick a side,
I know.
pick an app, either condense it all down to one or like just streamline everything.
Yeah, and there's talk that Hulu will eventually be integrated into Disney Plus at some point because
Yeah.
people are finding that Disney Plus is a destination at only a point in your life. So it's if
Oh,
you've got young families,
sure.
grandkids maybe, and then maybe if you're someone who's into the Star Wars universe, that's another thing, or Marvel. But they're finding that it's not the destination point for quality TV, which Hulu actually is. So if they merge the two of them, because now Disney finally owns 100% of Hulu, because prior that part of that was owned by Comcast until last year. I think that we'll probably start seeing the integration into one app at some point. They've already merged ABC Entertainment with Hulu, so they are one in terms of the executive teams. So I have a feeling it's a slow migration
But
process.
the content, at least some of it, is migrated because I know, for example, Scrubs is on both. You can watch it on Disney Plus or on Hulu.
Right.
So I don't know how much of their TV stuff is over on Disney Plus already, but they've already started moving the stuff, like copying it over.
Yeah, probably stuff that they already own that's within their wheelhouse. So it not licensed stuff. So I think that's the one thing too, though. If you subscribe to Hulu and Disney Plus separately, I mean, you can get it in a bundle, but a lot of people just have the separate. They're like, why do I have Scrubs in two different places? I think that's what gets confusing.
Well, yeah, and they don't save the progress between. So it's like I watch it on Hulu, then I move over to Disney Plus. The progress isn't saved because they're two different apps. It's like,
Correct.
why we should just have it in one place.
Right.
I have a
And
feeling
that's
in-
the
I have a feeling in
experience.
10 years, everything's just going to be pay per view.
Probably.
Everything you watch,
Just
you're
gonna
just
go
going
right
to pay.
back to pay-per-view.
Yeah, and to tell you the truth, I'd prefer it than having 15 different streaming services and have to find stuff or not watch it until it, comes on something else. It's just like, it would just be so much nicer just pay for the season and be done with it.
Yeah.
There you go. Instead of saying goodbye to Kristen Bird, I've decided from now on to use the one word when she comes over that 8-year-old Fawny says to me every time she comes over. So from now on, it will not be goodbye, Kristen. It'll be Netflix.
That's all she wants to do is Netflix and chill at your house.
That's it. She wants to watch Netflix, and that's it.
Does she not have Netflix at her own house?
No, mom
they-
and dad,
no,
yeah,
they're
they
very
restrict.
anti. Yep.
They restrict how much
Which is
they
funny
watch.
because I remember when Sage was like 3 years old and he wanted to watch something, and they were over at your house, and you were trying to find it. And you were like, I don't know which one it's on. And Sage goes, it's on Paramount Plus. And he's like
Flip
3
them
years
out.
old. And I'm like, how do you know what Paramount Plus is?
It's
But
true.
Ethan's like that. He's 3 and he could tell you where everything is.
Because they
Yep.
see the logo.
Yeah.
They can recognize the logo.
logo.
Yeah, he knows
Yep.
Tubi, he knows Disney, he knows all of those things because
Yep.
he pays attention to him. It matters, so he remembers it.
Yeah, it's true. Kristen, another great performance, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
See y'all tomorrow. Bye, Tevin.
Bye.
Thanks a lot. Kristen Bird Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. We'll take a break, come back. Chris Eggert will join us right after this.
I'm talking with my friends Michael Bilski and Brad Huckle of North American Banking Company. Guys, business owners have had to deal with a lot over the last few years, haven't they?
They sure have, Tommy. We pride ourselves on being able to help our customers with the challenges they face.
Our business bankers are experts and are always ready to help our customers capitalize on opportunities and solve problems.
Loan decisions come quickly because they're made here in the Twin Cities and not shipped out of state like at some of the national banks in town.
This allows our customers to expand their businesses with confidence, knowing that they have our team of experts in their corner.
Okay, so now you give me this big thing at the end. Way to go.
Well, you are the professional.
Oh, I forgot. Look, I know Brad and Mike, and I trust them with my banking. They've personally delivered on everything they've just said, so why not bank with my banker? North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
South Dakota, one of the most business-friendly states in the country, and there's no better place to settle down and take advantage of those incentives than in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. As the state's largest city with a metro population of over 290,000, Sioux Falls has low business costs with a high quality of life. There's no state, corporate, or personal income tax, no inheritance tax, and no limits to what your business can achieve. Sioux Falls, South Dakota was recently ranked #1 best small city for business and careers by Forbes, the #2 best state business tax climate by the Tax Foundation, and the #5 top state for e-commerce by Nexus. As one of the Midwest's fastest growing cities, Sioux Falls has a robust growing job market no matter where you're at in your career. We have an opportunity waiting for you. Our city's tax-friendly climate and strong workforce don't go unrecognized. Forbes named Sioux Falls one of the top small cities for business and careers each of the last 15 years. In 2020, Sioux Falls also ranked as the #4 best city for young professionals. How does South Dakota stack up against other states? We rank second in the nation for the lowest cost of doing business, the most business-friendly state, and the best business tax climate. And as South Dakota's biggest city, Sioux Falls is at the center of these benefits. Now is the perfect time to make your move to Sioux Falls. Visit SiouxFallsDevelopment.com. MyPillow, excited to announce that they're having their first ever mega sale on overstock and clearance of brand new products. For example, save over 50% on this season's flannel sheets. Queen size only $59.98. Kings only $69.98. They They sell out fast every year, so order now. Save 30% on their brand new Mycrosses. They're designed in the likeness of one of the ones Mike worn every day now for, 20 years, I think it is. It is 20 years, yep. They come in men's and women's sizes. They're made right in the USA, which is a good thing. Get 2025 6-piece My Towel sets for only $29.98. The initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. And the best-selling standard My Pillow, just $14.98. To take advantage of the first ever mega sale, go to mypillow.com and use promo code TOM or call 800-516-5146. But wait, remember that $75 free shipping rule? Well, that ship is sale because right now every order ships absolutely free. Ladies and gentlemen, today's show is brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation at 952-925-5608. Of course, Chris Eggert, sponsored by Josh Arnold. What's up, Chrissy?
Nothing. How are you guys?
Not bad. Oh, we got to set up how to transfer funds to you. Do you want them transferred, or do you want me to mail them to you?
Why don't we talk
Did
about
you do
this?
crypto?
Do you do crypto?
Yeah, I'm all crypto all the time. That's how I'm being
Catherine, you know
everything.
crypto?
But only meme coins, like the Hawk Tua coin.
Great. That's
Anything
I would
can be set
love.
up.
Just let's put it all in Hawk coin.
Yeah, I think
Let's do a coin.
1 cent gets you about 10 trillion of them, I think.
There you go. That'll work. But I just want to, I'm just trying to figure out getting all this stuff set up and teed up the way it goes, and because this one goes to Kristen and that one goes to you, and then there's that blah blah. It's nothing but trouble.
Oh, we can figure it out. No big deal.
Not a big deal. Yeah. So Catherine, you got that. You're dialed into that, aren't you?
I can figure it out.
What a woman. That's all I have to say.
Absolutely. You're a lucky man.
No question. Yeah. Well, you didn't do too bad yourself, there, pal.
I'm doing all right. Doing okay.
Chris Eggert, ladies and gentlemen, Channel 5 News. Yeah, what's one thing, I've mentioned this to you before, but I want to mention it again. No matter where you are in the United States of America, you can watch the local news from Minneapolis and St. Paul. You can watch whatever you want. I love that about television now, that you can feel like you're right at home because you're watching the same news you watch every night.
Well, I heard you guys in the last segment talking about all the different platforms to watch TV on and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's at some point, and maybe we've reached that point, it's going to become critical mass for people. I think they're just going to be like, I can't take it anymore. And then it gets back to the bit where cable doesn't look so bad anymore, right?
I know exactly what you're saying. Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, the one thing that is really nice about it, you can watch what you want to watch when you want to watch it.
For sure.
I really like that.
And people's viewing has evolved in that way for sure. So I'm glad the local news product is available, that you can watch it everywhere for sure. So that's the only thing I have any control over. So
I understand that completely, but it is really, really nice. I just, you want to watch something, you watch it. And as Catherine already pointed out before you got here, that I'm big on like Alfred Hitchcock, One Step Beyond, Twilight Zone. It's all stuff from my, single digit and teen years. I still love that stuff.
Twilight Zone is such a great show. I'll go back and watch that when I'm just want something, and it's always so thought provoking and so smart, and I dig the black and white obviously too. So,
and of course he lived to be about 19 because he smoked. God, he died young. Rod Serling.
Rod Serling. I wanted to say Rod Carew, but that's not.
Yeah, Rod Carew.
Oh, yeah, he was one of those guys. He looked like he had smoke coming out of his ears and everything all the time.
True.
He was 50.
He was only 50 when he died?
Wow.
Yep.
Eek.
Had a heart attack, and then another heart attack, and then another heart attack.
Okay.
And then he died.
And then he died at 50
Probably
years
didn't
old.
stop smoking for any of that. I would guess.
He had 3 heart attacks in the span of, so that's a month and a half.
Oh.
I was told by one of his workers I had on, I can't remember the guy's name, but he was on the Twilight Zone staff. He said that Rod Serling smoked between 70 and 80 cigarettes a day.
Yeah, this says 3 to 4 packs.
3 to 4 packs. So 4 packs would be 80 cigarettes.
That's more than your mom used to smoke.
I don't know. Not much more.
Not much.
Stop. Like, how long Let's see. How long does it take to smoke a cigarette?
Well,
7
he
minutes.
probably just burned through them too. He wasn't like letting it. He was just
He was two at a
Yeah,
time.
probably.
Let's see. So it's 6 minutes per cigarette times 80. So that's 480 minutes divided by 60. We'll get to the hours. 8 hours a day of just smoking.
Wow.
So that's
You know-
basically like if you're not eating, showering, or sleeping, you're smoking.
Yeah.
Yep.
Full-time
You
job,
know-
just changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to a doctor about this a few days ago, and he said that the people, I don't think, and Chris, you'd be the guy to turn to here because you're a news anchor. It hasn't been revealed to the public yet, but a number of reasons why people are heavier now than they've ever been in America, particularly women, is because they smoked cigarettes and then gave them up, but they
Yeah.
got so used to putting things in their mouth that they eat instead of smoking cigarettes. So you think you've heard that too, Andy?
Yeah. Reminds
Tevin?
me of one of my favorite lines from The Simpsons.
Oh,
Lisa,
what was it?
Lisa joins a dance team, and of course they all have to be as thin as possible because that's, how it is. And so they all take up smoking. And Lisa's like, "Why are you smoking these cigarettes?" And they're like, "There's a reason they call them dancer sticks."
Yeah, there you go.
I know a lot of women that smoke socially because it
Yeah.
keeps their weight down.
Yeah,
Yep. They smoke
Yeah,
just
yeah.
enough to kill their
Nicotine is an
appetite.
appetite suppressant.
but you get so used to putting your hand to your mouth from smoking cigarettes and having something in your mouth that once you stop smoking, all of a sudden it's calories.
it's a good thing we have Ozempic now then to take care of that.
To balance it up. How's Ozempic doing? Because some people don't do well on that, do they?
I think it always just depends how the person does with it. I heard something the other day that microdosing Ozempic is becoming a thing now, like during the holidays or something. You want to turn the appetite off just a little bit so you're not eating the extra cookies or whatever it might be. But I'd never heard that one before. That's a new one.
It's pretty amazing. No question about
I
it.
just saw an article on X about people they're taking medication for Parkinson's or restless legs syndrome, and
I heard that.
Did you see that? And they're
Dopamine.
they're blaming the drug for increases in pedophilia and all kinds
What?
of sexual weird stuff.
Tevin likes that story.
Yeah, there's something about the dopamine hit is somehow screwing with their.
Really?
It's the
that was a bad
dopamine
choice of words.
It's the dopamine you get in that your brain is supposed to produce for you, and there's certain things that you do that will help produce the dopamine. But this is an additional dose of dopamine. I heard some lady this morning on the radio talking about how when she was on dopamine, she just didn't even think straight, and she had no inhibition about anything, and she would do, I heard that, Catherine.
Which makes you wonder, all these people are just stripping off their clothes and going crazy inside an airplane. I mean, this is all this weird stuff is happening all the time. It might be because of the drugs that they're on. you know?
That could be.
Yeah.
And then on the other hand, I was like, damn, that dopamine sounds pretty great.
You're ready to go.
Do some of that. I mean, everyone's on some sort of psychoactive drug. I mean, like something like 25-30% of American women are on antidepressants.
Really?
Oh, I believe it.
Just insane.
I changed my doctor. I went in. My father had just died, and the first thing she wanted to do was put me on some sort of an antidepressant. I'm like, my dad just died.
all
Oh,
push it.
well, here's some drugs. I'm like, no, I don't want drugs. My dad died, and she's like, well, you must be sad. I'm like, it's okay to
Yeah,
be sad.
That's pretty normal.
of the
I would
process.
say.
I'm not like sad to the point I can't function, or it's been years and years. It's just like it's okay for people to go through a grieving process without downing a bunch of drugs, right?
Yeah, it's almost like back in the day with the ADHD medication, where like
Oh,
every
yeah.
kid
Yep.
was trying to
Yeah.
get diagnosed. With
Every single
ADD
kid was
and
on
things like that.
Ritalin or what was the other one?
I can't-
C something.
I don't know,
think.
but Ritalin was the main one because I remember
That
my
was
little brother. He was very energetic and hated sitting in a desk at school, and like the teachers and doctors were like, "Yeah, you should put him."
Oh
on
yeah, I was
Ritalin."
on all that crap for years and years and years.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. The teachers basically were like, you either put him on drugs or he can't come back to school.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like, wow.
A lot easier to take care of little Johnny if he's
Comatose. If he's comatose, he's real quiet. Yay. Love that.
I mean, that's the idea. Yeah. Just
You know,
give
it's
them pills
interesting.
until they stop being annoying.
It's interesting this has been brought up because I am on absolutely zero pharmaceuticals.
Good.
I don't take any drugs whatsoever. I take I take melatonin, but that's off
That's not a
off the shelf.
pharmaceutical
It's not a
drug.
pharmaceutical drug.
It's a
Yeah,
hormone.
I used to take quite a few of them trying to get to sleep because, Chris, you know this. When for 37 years, if you're getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go to work, it's really hard to adjust after that. But once I did adjust, I don't take any drugs, any pharmaceuticals at all now.
Yeah,
That's
look what caffeine does to you.
Oh God! So
Just caffeine.
Not last night, but the night before, Catherine and I went out to a place. What's called True Food. or
True
something?
Food Kitchen. Really,
It was really
good
good.
if
Yeah,
you've
it's
got
really
one
good.
in your area.
I don't know why I did this, but I ordered a cappuccino. I did not sleep one wink 2 nights ago. I'll tell you, I was the whole night. I was like, God.
Isn't that the worst? And and then you get pissed because
Yep.
you know you shouldn't have done it, and then you're just
Yep.
laying there and you're like, God dang it, why did I do that? And yeah, I
Will
know.
this caffeine leave my body?
Yep.
Oh, it's true. There's no question about it. Are there any big stories locally, Chris, we should know about?
Local stuff today. There's an election. I think it's District 40B, which for the Minnesota State House, like Roseville and Shoreview. There's a seat that's up, the special election today, and depending on who wins that, if the DFLer wins it or if the Republican wins it, it could shift the balance of power in the state legislature. You remember they were in a stalemate for the first several weeks of the session, and some of them weren't even, the DFL wasn't even coming
No, they weren't
to the
even showing
Capitol.
up.
So that'll be interesting to see what happens there. I know everyone here's legislative and start to glaze over because it's kind of boring, but in this particular case, I think it will have a pretty big impact on what happens for the rest of the legislative session. So that was one of our big stories today. This isn't a local thing, but for those of us peasants who fly cheap, it's a pretty big deal that
I saw that.
Southwest decided to change some of its policies, and you can't fly no more free bags.
Yeah,
which
that's
is
a mistake, I
yeah.
think.
Yeah, I do too. And they're getting a lot of blowback on it too. So that'll be interesting to see how that all plays out.
God, that's really unfortunate that all this stuff is happening, isn't it? It just, what was that number again, Andy? From 1913 to today, there's a $825 difference in value. Or
Yeah, like $26 is now worth $850.
$26 is now $850 as far as purchase power.
Yeah, inflation's hard.
And that's in 110 years.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Well, just think how money's been devalued in the last 3-4 years.
That's very
it's worth
true.
like 30% less.
Well, let's see, 850 divided by 26. That is a 32.7 times difference. So in another 110 years or whatever,
God. Oh,
Oh,
God.
no.
$100 is going to be worth $3,260.
Well, maybe I better start smoking so I die young. That's what I should do.
Are there any Teslas being firebombed in Minneapolis, or is that just all over in Seattle?
No, I haven't seen any of that here. And I will say Tesla stock is bouncing back a little bit today after yesterday.
Oh, is it? Okay.
And I haven't seen the big picture on the market, but I read that some of the like Nvidia and Tesla are doing better today after yesterday because it's been a rough couple days on the markets, and there's more word about tariffs this morning. I think President Trump said he's going to amp the tariffs up on some Canadian products to 50%. So we'll see how. I mean, I guess you can't get in a trade war without, there being some casualties. I guess that would be the argument.
Isn't it true that we've been paying really high tariffs to Canada?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've been paying their tariffs. Why is it not fair for them to pay tariffs to us? I don't understand that.
Yeah.
Someone explain it to me.
I'm not an economist. I can't explain it to you, but I will say that it seems that the markets have been so volatile is because nobody really quite knows how any of this stuff is going to play out because it's not been done to this level. So, we'll see how the day goes on that. But again, I'm not an economic expert, so I do listen to a lot of business radio though on my way to work.
Yeah, I do tend to do that myself. Take a quick break. Be right back in a couple of minutes. More with Chris Eggert right after this.
Brad John Bryant, Michael Bryant. Michael, what's up?
Dealing with another case where a person gave a statement to the adjuster because they thought the person was really friendly.
Is that a good idea?
Well, the problem is they know the law when they call you up. And while you're trying to be fair and you're trying to get help, the reality is there are questions you get asked that the way you answer them make a big difference. And people put themselves in trouble. And when they aren't in trouble, they didn't do anything wrong, but suddenly the adjuster's got a statement that can blow up their case completely.
What has caused people to be so untrustworthy, I guess is the best way I could put it? They take advantage.
Well, insurance companies have hired adjusters whose job it is to deal with unrepresented people. So they're supposed to kind of lure them in, call them every day, see how they're doing. And people are like, oh, I'm doing pretty good. Where the reality is they've kind of adjusted to their problem that they've got going on. So it's not that they're completely better, but the way they say it gets to be a problem. And that's why having somebody who can explain your rights, represent you, make sure that you understand the law before you give a statement can make a big difference in your case.
Michael Bryant, Brad Sean Bryant. Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Sometimes the anxiety for wondering if you saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? My guy, Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, can sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk. Never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608. Set up your free 48-minute no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments must involve risk. You know that. All comments and opinions of Josh Arnold do not constitute investment advice. I am a paid endorser.
Maybe you could reconsider all the love you've missed since I've been gone.
Today's show brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation at 952-925-5608. Now, Chris and Tevin, you had to be out at the bottom of the hour last week. Still the case, you need to be out by 11:30.
Yeah, that's probably the deal.
And Tevin, same with you.
No, I'm here for however long.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure. So we'll just get rid of Chris in another, 9
Well,
minutes.
it's best that way. I just checked the markets. The Dow is down 561. The S&P is down 51. Boeing is having Boeing is in the green, which is one of the only big stocks that, and I think I mentioned earlier that Tesla and Nvidia were supposed to be bouncing back today. But anyway,
Buy low, sell high.
Yep.
That's what I know.
Yep.
So what's this all about? Is this all about changing of the guard, or what's it all about?
Well, it continues to be the uncertainty over what the tariff situation is going to actually do. But what else did I see? Oh, Tommy, you got some new competition in the podcast universe.
Or do you mean Rosie?
No.
Who?
King Charles.
Oh, he's doing a podcast now, is
God.
he? Okay.
It's actually
Listen
pretty
here,
funny.
underlings. This is Charles talking to you, underlings.
He's got some. He's got a good voice. He's got some timber.
Well, Mark Rosen is going to start a podcast too. I think in the next couple of weeks. I can't remember. I was told who he started, but I can't remember. It's somebody I know too.
I'm going toward Mark Rosen or King Charles. I'm going to go with King Charles's podcast. That's
instead of Rosie.
And he was like going through his favorite songs. It's kind of funny. I heard it a couple times today, and I'm like, oh, well, hey, God bless the Buckingham Palace for trying to reach a different demographic of people, right? I guess.
Yeah.
No,
you're absolutely right.
Wasn't his mom? Or was it one of the first kings? Forgive me for not knowing this. I'm not huge on my British royalty, but wasn't one of them like the first to really embrace the technology of the TV? And
I think so.
Was it his mom?
Well, yeah, because she reigned for what, 70 years.
Yeah,
so she was doing everything.
She was coronated in, let's see,
yeah,
it's
she
like
was
1952.
Yeah,
That's pretty early on for TV.
Yeah,
she was very young. And
And
lived a long time.
I guess so. Somebody sees some value in finding a way to, tap into a different audience. And
That's true.
Oh yeah, I think.
I've not watched the Duchess's new show yet, or whatever that is, because the Meghan Markle has a
She's not a duchess anymore.
former Duchess,
Yeah.
Duchess, whatever.
Oh,
she
she's
was.
not. Oh,
Yeah.
what
No, they
happened?
gave up their title so they could come to America and make their fortunes here.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't bear to. I'm just not interested. Sorry,
I
No.
know. Who cares?
Not care.
don't care.
No, you're absolutely right about that. But it's so interesting that you could be king someday. Although his brother's older than him, so he probably was never going to become king, was he?
Nah, he's always going to be the
Underling.
underling, right?
I suppose that's true. So he he married a beautiful woman. There's no question about that. I don't know much about how edgy she can be. Some people tell me she can be quite edgy, but who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. Apparently, she didn't have a great experience in the palace. So
Oh, she didn't?
No, neither did Diana.
yeah, right.
Everybody they marry hates being married to the whole thing because
can
it's
see
a
that.
lot of pressure.
Yeah,
Well, Andy was thinking about going over there because he tried to hide behind one of the suits of honor in the Tower of London, but we found him anyway.
I couldn't
Remember,
get in.
you don't even remember that, do you? Going behind that
Suit of armor?
the suit of armor, yeah.
Oh,
No, I do not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
thank-
you were not very old.
yeah, leave it to Andy to break something that's 10,000 years old. Priceless to
And
the crown.
Exactly. Mom and Dad coughing up $10 million for a suit of armor.
Yep, that would be us.
No, you remember that trip though, don't you, Andy?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay, good. I hope you didn't forget the whole thing. Just
No,
the
I
bad
remember.
parts.
I remember all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, you
No
were old enough to
question.
remember things.
I mean, I was probably like at least 14, right?
Yeah,
Oh, were you?
yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
suppose. Yeah, that's true. I suppose you were.
Yeah.
I suppose that's probably. Chris and Tevin, have you guys ever traveled extensively to Europe or to Asia or anywhere?
Nope, never been across the pond.
with work, I've been to Asia, been to Europe, been to Africa. Like I've had some cool.
God.
Oh,
I've had some cool travels when I was traveling more. And my job duties now, unfortunately, I'm doing more of the boring sit at the desk stuff, which I used to love the travel. That was like part of
Yeah.
the reason I got into it. But,
Well, I never got to go all the places you went, but I got to travel a lot when I was working for Capitol Records because they always had all these different markets and all this, that. And I agree with you. Just to go to all these different places all the time. Although my favorite is, I went to Iowa once with Tom Gorman, who was the best man in my wedding. And he was working at, I was at Capitol Records, and I think he was at Columbia, or I don't know, I don't remember what record company, but we had to get to the airport, and he just didn't want to go. And we go to the very last minute. So he's driving the car, and he's speeding in Iowa. We get pulled over, and as the cop walks up to the car, Tom Gorman rolls the window down and goes, "Just bad timing, officer. I was about to slow down." Oh, were you? Oh, okay. Whatever you say, pal. Gorman was a great guy to hang out with. Andy, you remember Tom Gorman?
no, I don't.
Probably not a lot. That was a long time ago. But I tell you, being in the record business was a lot of fun, man. There's not a whole lot of work involved.
I
told you-
bet.
I told you the story about the only time I've ever gotten a ticket, right?
No.
I've gotten one ticket in my life. So I didn't used to drive my car a whole lot. I probably put on 1,000 miles a year or something like that. So when my tabs expired, I just didn't really care.
Oh, God.
Because I was like, I drive for 10 minutes a day once a week.
Yeah,
not
what's
going
the
to matter.
probability, right?
So for 3 years, I drove around with expired tabs. So they were triple expired.
Yep.
And then one day, Melissa's like, we should probably get your tabs renewed. And I'm like, fine, we'll go get my tabs renewed. So I'm driving to the place to get my tabs renewed when I get pulled over.
Oh, God.
And
Oh,
she gives me a ticket. And I was literally like, I know you're not going to believe what I'm about to say, but I'm on my way to get these 3-year expired tabs renewed. And she's like, sorry, got to give you a ticket.
Now they can't pull you over for tabs anymore, right?
They can't?
No,
think
you
so.
can't. Yeah, that's just a kind of, I think, aftermath of the George Floyd.
Well, then what's the point of tabs?
So
secondary offense. Also, the state of Minnesota can make money off you.
Yeah.
Well, if they can't pull
Cabs
you
are so
over, then
stupid.
why renew them?
because it's if you're parked on the side of the road and like
Oh.
you're getting a parking ticket
Oh,
type of
okay.
thing, they can give you a ticket, but they can't use it as probable cause, like pull you over and now search your vehicle and do all
Huh.
types of stuff.
I
Well, I mean,
suppose
it's like
that
an
makes sense.
expired tab. You really need to pull someone over for it. You got their plates, send them a bill.
But they want their money.
Send them a bill. Put it on their tab.
Yeah, there you go.
Put it on their tab. Yeah, that's a good idea. All right. Any closing words, Mr. Eggert?
No. The show looks good. I like what you got going on right now. It's cool.
Well, it's working out really, really well. It's a good group of people, and you know, a lot of podcasts I know get very hard lined about politics and all that stuff, but I just don't. I don't want to do. We talked about a couple of things to kick off the show, but I'm not going to get into it hard line like some of these people do. And I know, some people love that stuff, but it's just. I'm at the point in my life I just don't want to dwell on it. I'll bring it up. I'll talk about it, but I don't want to dwell on it.
Well, there's plenty of that content out there in a lot of other places. So
Yep,
Sure
that's
is.
true.
you know.
No question about it. But we will talk to you again next Tuesday.
Yep, sounds good, guys. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, sir. We'll take a break. Be right back. Come back. Tevin, you can stay for a while. That's good.
Yeah, I'll stay.
That works
Why
for me.
not?
We'll be right back right after this.
I'm talking with my friends Michael Bilski and Brad Huckle of North American Banking Company. Guys, business owners have had to deal with a lot over the last few years, haven't they?
They sure have, Tommy. We pride ourselves on being able to help our customers with the challenges they face.
Our business bankers are experts and are always ready to help our customers capitalize on opportunities and solve problems.
Loan decisions come quickly because they're made here in the Twin Cities and not shipped out of state like at some of the national banks in town.
This allows our customers to expand their businesses with confidence, knowing that they have our team of experts in their corner.
Okay, so now you give me this big thing at the end. Way to go.
Well, you are the professional.
Oh, I forgot. Look, I know Brad and Mike, and I trust them with my banking. They've personally delivered on everything they've just said. So why not bank with my banker? North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Sometimes the anxiety for wondering if you've saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? My guy, Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, can sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk. Never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608. Set up your free 48-minute no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments must involve risk. You know that. All comments and opinions of Josh Arnold do not constitute investment advice. I am a paid endorser.
Believe in the kingdom come, then all the colors will bleed into
We are back, ladies and gentlemen, the last segment of the show today. Tevin, anything on your mind you wanted to bring up you haven't been able to yet?
I don't think so. I did because you guys were talking about politics and like not being hardline. I heard an advertisement for a show. I believe it was like a podcast called like something about being down the middle, but it was like refreshing to hear somebody go, like,
Yeah.
"Hey, come listen to this show. We're not going to scream and argue about our politics. We want to talk to people that are kind of more down the middle and bring people together. So maybe there's some hope for society here in the near future."
Well, that's what we're trying to do with the same thing. Just get political about it and all the rest. Well, as I said, I didn't even vote in the last election. And after thinking about it for a couple of months now, I may never vote again because I'm of an age where, it's not about me. It's about the younger people in the world, the people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, that kind of deal. So do you think there should be, because you have to be, 18 to vote, right? You cannot vote.
Yep.
Well, it's an interesting fact that, Ethan's brain is 90% of the size it's going to be as a grown-up, but it's only 25% developed.
Right.
That's why they can't.
Still
a lot
making
of-
connections.
That's why they're constantly doing unreasonable, crazy things. Just like, what's wrong with
Running
this
into
kid?
chairs.
because only a tiny bit of this brain is working. And it does not develop all the way until you're sometimes in your mid-20s.
Yeah, mid-20s.
Yeah.
So why can you vote? Why is it okay for you to vote at 18 years old then?
Well, the
make
argument there, I
life-changing-
think, is because if you can go into the military, you should be able to vote.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, I suppose.
Yep.
I suppose that's right. But I just, and this wasn't intentional. I still think somebody held my vote back on purpose. I really. You got yours. How can
It
I
was
not?
from Florida. You think that somebody's sitting there at the voting thing in Florida saying,
Probably
"Don't
not.
mail his
It
ballot
had-
to Minnesota"?
It had
Come
to
on.
pass through the offices in
Well,
Minneapolis, St.
that's
Paul.
true. That is true.
So there's a possibility that Uncle Tommy didn't get to vote because they threw my ballot away, which is a favor to me because now I don't want to vote anymore. I just, I
gotta
don't want to
tell
argue
you,
about this.
I got to tell you that post office in Wayzata. Oof.
Really?
Oh God, the guy almost had me in tears. He was so mean and horrible.
Why was he horrible to you?
I just could. I brought in like 50,000 different ways of identifying myself, but because I had already changed my driver's license to Florida, I didn't have any Minnesota ID.
Yeah.
So he's like, I can't forward your mail. I'm like,
Why not?
I'm like, what?
You can forward your mail online without any ID.
Nope, not me. Couldn't do it. Nope. No, they were, and he was so mean and so awful.
How old was this guy?
Mid-30s?
You know what's funny about that, Tevin? She never told me that.
No.
Why do you think it is she never told me that the guy treated her that way?
Because
I
we're
hear
in the
from
car
people-
and we're driving down to the Wayzata.
We're going down to the post office
I
right
could
now.
not believe how obnoxious he was.
Why does he think he can do that? He's a public servant, for Christ's sake.
I don't think I've ever been treated worse than
Really?
by public servants.
But now I have something to do this summer when I go in there and have a little word with him. What was his name?
I'm not telling you, and I never will. You can't drag it out of me.
I suppose. I just don't understand why people want to be that big an a-hole. I don't get it.
No, and especially like whether it's the DMV or the post office, you would think like, let's make this as enjoyable as possible
Yeah,
because this is
really. Yeah.
already a
Yep.
horrendous experience for everybody involved.
Yep.
It's absolutely true. But boy, and you guys are of different age than, well, it's kind of nice because we have 4 different age groups here, basically. Because Andy, Tevin, how old are you now?
32.
Okay, so Andy, you're 6-7 years older than Tevin.
Hey, everybody's brain is all done growing.
And I'm 7 years older than Catherine is.
Yeah.
So we got 4 different groups of people here. But I've noticed as time has moved on, boy, people are just not anywhere near as nice as they used to be. Why is that?
I don't know, but it catches you off or it catches you kind of by surprise when somebody is nice for no reason. Like
Right.
went
Yeah,
to the
what's your-
post office downtown because we had to send a letter out, and my girlfriend accidentally put the wrong like zip code on it. The lady caught it, and she's like, "Oh, like this is going to get sent back to you. Let me change this real quick and update it." And so, like even
Wow.
little things like that, you're like, "Oh, I was not expecting you to go above and beyond."
Reminds me
I
of,
think COVID has changed everything.
I think, yeah.
Really? You think that's what it was?
Yeah, I do. Like you rage about people walking through sand traps and they won't.
They will not rake sand traps anymore.
During COVID, the COVID rules were you didn't have to take the pin out of the cup anymore, which nobody takes the pin out of the cup anymore,
anymore,
because it
they
actually
don't.
helps you usually get a putt in because it bounces off the thing and goes in. So it used to be considered sort of a cheat.
Right.
But now that stays in, and you didn't have to rake the traps because you didn't want to touch the rake and get COVID from somebody. And as ridiculous as that all was, that's now nobody rakes the traps because once you tell somebody they don't have to do something that's inconvenient or a little tiny bit of work, they're never going to do it again. A lot of people will just be like,
Right.
nope, not doing it.
So I rake, I would say, every trap that I go
And
near
I'm like, why does it bother you?
because it's really impolite.
It is impolite, but we live in a very impolite society.
Well,
I don't know
that's
if you
true,
have
too.
noticed.
That is true. There's no question about that. I don't know why people can't be more polite to one another. So when I do run into somebody polite, I do give them some extra tip money, so it pays off for them. So that's good.
It reminds me of an Ethan story from last year. I actually I remembered the story because we actually went there. So we were at Shields,
Yeah.
the gigantic sporting goods store.
Yep.
over in
Yes, that is
Eden
gigantic.
Prairie, right?
Eden Prairie,
Yeah,
yep.
Eden Prairie. Yeah, it's enormous. It's got all sorts of stuff. Kids love it. And we were at the diner there.
There's a
Gina's.
diner in there too?
Yeah, it's called Gina's, I think.
I've never even gotten that far in the store.
Just a Ferris wheel of a fish tank.
Yep. So yeah, we were eating at Gina's and we were leaving. Ethan was strapped into his stroller, and the employee comes around and he's like sweeping up because I think we were closing the place basically. So the guy was cleaning up to close, and as he sweeps in front of Ethan, Ethan goes, "Thank you." The guy's like, "You're welcome."
Thank you for sweeping in front of me. I appreciate
Very
that.
sweet.
Well, his perception was really nice, though,
Yeah,
don't
he
you
was-
think?
Yeah, well, I mean, he knows that like when he cleans up, we say thank you. So he thinks that's
Yep.
what to say when someone's cleaning up.
Well, that's a good
Gotta
thing.
thank him.
All right, any closing words from any of the two of you or three of you with Catherine involved just to my right here?
Yes, thank you all for showing up for work.
Yeah, that's true. You did show up for work. That's true. It is true.
Thank you.
Anything
for having
good going on?
No, I mean here in Minneapolis, it has been beautifully
Oh,
warm.
I got sunburn yesterday.
Like it's awesome.
It was 68 or something?
Yeah, it was
I think
like
it was
in the high
68 degrees.
60s and sunny. We were at the park for 2 hours. I didn't bring a hat because I wasn't expecting to be there for 2 hours. And yeah, I got sunburn on the top of my head. I woke up and my head was hurting, and I was like, "What's happening?"
Well, you are seriously white.
I get sunburned very, very easily. I
That's
have to
all
wear
true.
a hat if the sun is out, but the sun hasn't been out. I was expecting to be out there for like half an hour, but then a bunch of kids, like school, got out, so 10 billion children showed up, and he wanted to play with them. And the only reason he left is because there was a kid on a swing, and Ethan just walked right out in front of him and got
Got nailed.
nailed by the swing, and he ran over and he said, "Dad, the swing destroyed me." I'm like, well, I don't know about
Swing
that.
destroyed me. What's interesting about that is you had a beautiful day yesterday in Minneapolis, and it was a horrible day here.
Oh, we had
Well,
winds
what's
and
horrible
craziness.
Oh, no, it was really
I guess
bad.
in Orlando, yeah, they showed on the news in Orlando a gigantic house just got blown to bits
Yeah.
by some tornado
Wow.
up there. Yeah.
Yep. Those are tornadic winds. Yep.
Yep.
What are you going to do? All right, that is going to do it, but we will talk to you later. Today's show brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation at 952-925-5608. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
No,
Got a picture in my noggin reminds me of this rose before. Every time I hear the singing reminds me how you talking